Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk South Williamsport football. Single A, still going here in the state playoffs. They're going to take on Bishop Guilfoyle. Joining us is the head coach, Chris Eiswerth. Chris, another great weekend for you and your team. Let's talk about the game against Pius X. A whole lot of points, whole lot of offense, and a whole lot of big plays from Dominic Bragalone III.
Yeah, I tell you, we knew that Pius was going to be a team that was going to score points. I mean, they have a tremendous offense. They've racked up some huge numbers this season, and we knew we had to score off. So, yeah, it was one of those things. They went down, they scored, and then we kind of, got in a rhythm and scored, and then continued to score. The second quarter, we really put it together and made some big plays and kind of pulled away.
Coach, let's talk about your offensive line. You have some big kids up front and some good kids. They're not just big kids; they're good. They could move kids off the line and give Dominic a little crease, and that's all he needs. Or your quarterback, for that matter, he does a nice job as well. But let's talk about that offensive line.
Well, I tell you, we're very blessed. I mean, it all starts with our tight end, Tyler Schoenwolf. He's a guy that, he hasn't missed a practice in 4 years. He's a tremendous student, over 2,000 on his SATs. He's 6'3", 265, very smart. He's a basketball player, and he's very athletic. So he really, gets that thing going and anchors that. And next to him, we have Cody Nelson. And Cody's a great kid, a baseball player, basketball player, 6'4", 250. And, he runs out of his stance. He's very physical. Next to him, Sam Buck. He's one of the bigger guys, 6'2", 285. Again, good athlete. We use him to pull quite a bit. And, Sammy, he had an injury last year with his ACL. He's come back and just had a tremendous season. As we work down the line, we have a number of freshmen playing in our center. Riley Barnes is a kid who is one of those freshmen. He's come out, worked hard in the weight room, built his body up. And he's up to about 210, 220, and has just a tremendous and bright future. You got to get those snaps, and you got to get a guy that can move and pick up backers. So Riley's done a tremendous job there. We have a sophomore that has really come along by the name of Connor Rattan. He's a guy about 6 foot, 320, 315 in that range. And I tell you, he was a project early on in the summer. He really dedicated himself to the weight room, and he's turned himself into one of our better linemen. He's big, he's strong, he gets on you, and he can move you. He's over a 500-pound squatter, and that's a deep squat. He has a bright future as a sophomore. We had 2 guys that played split guard for us this year. Anthony Caruso was a 2-year starter for us, and he had a tremendous career. He's an all-state baseball player. He's about 250, and he got hurt week 10, and Rocco Bossinger has come in, who's another senior that is a tremendous leader. At about 210, he's come in, tremendous weight room guy, very strong, very physical. He has a low center of gravity, and Rocco Bossinger, he's really filled in well, and we really haven't skipped a beat. So, they're the guys that get it going for us, and we're very fortunate to have those young men.
Chris Eiswerth, South Williamsport Mounties head football coach here on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Coach, we'll get to Dominic Bragalone because he's a story in himself. But when we get through some of the other skill guys, your quarterback and your fullback, and you mentioned some of these receivers, talk about some of those guys that complement Dominic and can really do things that Dominic will lull you to sleep in one way, and you'll hit another guy, and then they'll surprise you and knock one off for 31 yards or throw a pass for 50 yards.
Yeah, Matt Boone, he's kind of the catalyst to this whole thing. He makes it go. He's another guy who's a tremendous student, wants to go to college, be an engineer. And, he's very tenacious, has a lot of fight in him. And, you start running that offense, and, you're making those handoffs, and we're starting, the line's beginning to build creases, and Dom, hits those creases, and all of a sudden, you have some of these keeps and these boots to the outside of these plays, and I tell you, they've been very successful for us. We've been fortunate because Matt is another guy that's worked extremely hard in the weight room with the speed training. He's a guy that's strong. He's got great feet, and he can hurt you with his feet. He's thrown for, almost 1,300 yards this year and almost 20 touchdown passes. So he can also throw the ball. And, as you suck these guys in, these safeties and corners have to start coming up for run support, and you can get over top of them. And Riley Thomas, has been a go-to guy. Him and Brock Jones, they're guys that have hurt defenses, on the outside and down the field. So, Riley Thomas, he had a tremendous game again this past week. Had a punt return, had a huge 40-some-yard pass play catch, went up from double coverage and brought it down. So, with those guys, it just kind of takes a little pressure off you when these guys start putting, 8 and 9 guys in the box.
Chris Eiswerth here on the John Mendola Show. Coach, how about that freshman group of guys and having them play on the varsity level? And, there's different reasons that teams do it. Some teams don't have maybe a junior high program. How about for you guys? Is this just a special class, or is this one of those situations where, it gives a freshman an opportunity to get some of that varsity experience?
Well, I tell you, I think there's a couple factors here. I think when you have guys like senior guys like Johnny Peters, who's been just a tremendous fullback for us and linebacker and leader, to guys like Tyler Schoenwolf, guys that have taken these young guys in and kind of showed them, given them the roadmap to success. The freshmen that have come in, they're all very talented. They were undefeated as 8th graders. So we knew, there'd be a possibility of them contributing. If someone would have told me, in the summer that Riley Barnes would be our starting center, I probably wouldn't have believed him. He has been just unbelievable there. Gideon Green is a kid who had a very, very good year as an 8th grader, and then he just grew. He's 6'1", 210, can run like a deer, and he's just a very, very hard worker. He was almost like Dominic's shadow in the summer, following him to camps and following him to the weight room, just kind of like that, that little brother that follows, the older brother, and he's taken off. What he's done at inside backer and helping us on the offensive side of the ball as a blocker and as a runner has been tremendous. Ashton Martin is a guy who was a tailback on that 8th grade team that was undefeated. So he's come in, hit the weight room, grew, very good athlete, great feet, great hands. He's fast, he's quick, and he's done an excellent job there. So these guys, it's really interesting to see how they've come and the things they've done.
Chris, you mentioned all those guys, Peters and Schoenwolf, and the leadership that they have. I'm very impressed the fullback, Peters, and linebacker. The way he plays linebacker is incredible. But Dominic Bragalone now, we'll talk about him. The way you guys run that pitch play, and the guy always comes upfield. You get that kick out, and it looks like they can make a play, and then Dominic just makes something out of it. It doesn't matter if it's the pitch play or something in the middle. Dominic's making plays all over the field. He'll run through you, run around you, run over you, spin around you. He is the real deal, and what he's done this season and over his career, he seems like he's one of those once-in-a-lifetimers.
Yeah, sometimes you have to pinch yourself when you see these runs and you see how he's doing it. And when I first got hired over here 4 years ago, I got in my car, and one of the first trips I made was to Dominic's house, and we sat down. I remember he was a young freshman, and it was in the summer, and we kind of discussed his future, and because I knew at that point that he was a tremendous athlete, very fast, and it's to look back now 4 years later and see where this has come is at times mind-blowing, because I knew he was very athletic. The X factors in that you didn't know was he going to work. He has worked tremendously. He's a kid that, he's getting it done in the classroom. He's over 1,000 on his SATs, and he has high hopes to go on and do some things at the college level. But I mean, to see him make these runs and do it in a way that he's making, 300 and 400-yard rushing games, kind of like, something that's happening all the time. And this just doesn't happen. So, he can run away from you. Pius had tremendous speed. I mean, he once he got to the second level, I mean, it was very impressive to see how he ran by the athletes from Pius, made moves on them, and because at times Dom is labeled as stiff. There was another guy that was labeled as stiff, and his name is Herschel Walker. Everybody's different, but his power, his speed, as you said, I mean, he's a 320-pound power cleaner, 500-pound squatter, benches over 400 pounds, and has been clocked at some very tremendous times in the 40s. So, you put all those things together and you put pads on him, and now you have a guy to deal with. But they've worked very hard at that cross play. They've worked hard at the inside runs, and it takes an entire group. But Dom is a special kid, and when this thing finally ends, which you really don't want to think about, it's going to be hard to see him go away. But we are excited for him and his future, and he's done a tremendous service for South Williamsport in our program.
Well, wherever he signs is going to be fortunate. Of course, we're rooting for the Mounties here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania to go on, take that next step. Next opponent, Bishop Guilfoyle in the state semifinals, and then if they're fortunate enough to get to the state finals. Coach Chris Eiswerth, we appreciate your time. I know you're busy breaking down film, getting your lesson plans ready for school. You're a busy guy, no doubt about it, but we thank you for your time, and we wish you well.
Hey, thank you very much, John. I appreciate it.
South Williamsport Mounties, they always get their man here on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.